Okay, today is March 8, 2003, and this is the beginning of an interview with Warren Miller at his home at 231 Aberdeen Drive in Horseheads, New York. Mr. Miller is 79 years old, having been born on July 30th, 1923. My name is Dan Crandall, and I'll be the interviewer. Mr. Miller, could you state for the recording what war and branch of service you served in?
I joined the Army Air Corps in October 1942 and went to San Antonio, Texas through Aviation Cadet School and was then sent to San Angelo, Texas to Bombardier School. I graduated from Bombardier School on August 25th, 1943. And from there I was assigned to a crew, B-24 bomber. And we went through phase training, 3 different phases of training. At Clovis, New Mexico, Florida, New Mexico, and then on to Charleston, South Carolina. After that, we went to Mitchell Field in New York, and from there took off for overseas.
And you were stationed in Italy?
No, we were assigned to 450th Bomb Group, 723rd Squadron, and 15th Air Force at Manduria, Italy.
Okay, and the last question for our opening segment, what was your rank at the time?
Second Lieutenant.
Okay, Mr. Miller, where were you living when the war began?
I was at the SUNY Farmingdale, at that time which was called the Agricultural and Technical School in Farmingdale, Long Island, when World War II started.
Had you been concerned about war prior to Pearl Harbor?
Oh, I think we had some inkling that things weren't too good. That Hitler was causing problems over in Europe. And, but I think that the Japanese bombing of Pearl Harbor was more or less unforeseen for me as a young person.
So you were college age
Yes.
when the war began. Okay. And what were you doing when, I know you were in Farmingdale, but do you remember actually what you were doing when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
Not really. I know I was on campus. Joined in a room with several fellows listening to the radio all about the bombing attack on Pearl Harbor.
So you were with your roommates and your dorm mates
Yeah.
when it began?
Yes.
Okay, did you join or were you drafted?
I enlisted, but not until, well, you're talking about December now, when it started. I was in the senior year there, and I had to do 6 months of training after I graduated in order to get my diploma.
Okay.
Practical work. And I went to Swarthmore College in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. And that campus is underwritten by Scott Paper Foundation.
Okay.
And I was assigned to the horticultural department, maintaining the grounds.
Okay.
And as soon as in fact I didn't quite get my 6 months in, I decided I wanted to get into the Air Corps rather than be drafted, and I volunteered.
But that was another one of the questions I was going to ask, is why did you pick the Air Corps as opposed to any other branch of the service? So you joined early in your practical to avoid a draft. Okay.
October 42.
And did anything attract you to the Air Corps as opposed to, let's say, the Army or the Navy?
No, I thought I wanted to fly.
Okay. I know that the idea of being on the ground in a war might not be as attractive, that's for certain. Good. Okay, let me move on here. Tell me about your basic training, your boot camp experiences.
It was Aviation Cadet training was a lot of marching and a lot of calisthenics. And the upperclassmen, it was just like going into West Point. You got hazed.
Okay.
And I was in Group 6 at San Antonio. I'll never forget it. And every time you met an upperclassman, he would put you in a brace. Want to see how many wrinkles you get in your chin.
They actually put you in a physical brace?
Well, stand at a real tight attention.
Okay.
Draw your chin and see how many wrinkles you can get in your chin.
So,
Group 6, Mr. Miller.
was it mostly good-natured hazing, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So it wasn't anything that gave you undue concern or produced any unusual amount of stress?
No. Only at one time we were all out on the parade grounds waiting for General Arnold to arrive. Guys were fainting because it was so hot and he was an hour late.
That's bad news. And that was
At San Antonio, Kelly Field.
okay.
Then called Kelly Field.
And so that would be somewhere between October and spring of 1943? Okay, still plenty hot though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it sounds like Texas. Did you find it to be hard, basic training?
No, my father was a disciplinarian, so I didn't have any trouble with it.
Good. Okay. Do any of your instructors from that part of your training stand out in your memory? Do you remember anybody in particular?
No, I don't think so.
Do you remember any, other than the one you just mentioned about waiting for General Arnold, do you remember any other humorous incidents? Were there any pranks going on between the cadets?
No, I guess, no, I don't think so. Anything that sticks in my mind.
Okay.
I don't know, I just, the way I was brought up, I had military life, I obeyed, you know.
So you took it pretty seriously?
Yes, I did.
It was a pretty serious situation. So that was the first phase of your training, that just the basic cadet aviation school. Was that a lot of bookwork, a lot of...
Yeah, navigation and all those. I had to learn Morse code.
along with all the physical basics?
About the different types of clouds there are, all in that navigation area.
Okay.
Yes, there was quite a lot of studying to do.
Do you remember how long that lasted for?
I think about 2 months. Maybe 3. And I went to Bombardier School, and that was a lot of that over again, more accelerated and more advanced, I should say.
Okay. And was that held in the same place? Was that still in San Antonio?
San Angelo.
That was San Angelo. And that is in New Mexico?
No, that's Texas.
It's still Texas.
West Texas.
And I would imagine that lasted for probably another 2 to 3 months?
3 months. We flew an AT-11 aircraft. And prior to even getting to flying the aircraft, you were on a great big high thing with a bomb sight on it that was motorized.
Okay.
And you went across the hangar, and there would be a target on the floor. You would sight and then try and hit the circles.
They run you through that quite a bit?
Yes.
Okay. That was your second phase of basic training then, or training prior to deployment. There was a third phase?
No, it was all made every day, I guess. As I remember, most every day we went up in the AT-11 and went out on the prairie. And they had bombing ranges, and dropped those. I've seen a lot of places where they have outdoors for cigarettes and put them out.
Okay.
The small bombs with flour in them, so that they could tell where you hit, where the bomb hit, and record it. Each plane had 2 men in. One would be on the bomb site dropping bombs. The other fellow in the back with the camera taking a picture of where it hit, and then change places.
So they graded you based on that?
Yes.
Do you remember what kind of a requirement they had? Was there a certain percentage that you had to reach?
Yes, you did. In order to become a bombardier. I can't tell you what those figures were.
But you made it?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is my Bombardier School book right there.
Okay. So,
I'm stopping things here by doing this.
well, what I can do. Okay, did you get a chance to come home or do anything before you were deployed overseas?
Yes, right after Bombardier School, I had a 10-day delay en route. Came home, and my wife and I were married.
Good. And did you know where you were going at that point?
Yeah, I had orders to report back to Clovis, Mexico.
And
And shortly after I went back, then my wife joined me out there.
And how long did that last for?
We were there from, well, I would say each of these places a couple months. At Clovis for a couple months, and then we went to Alamogordo, and then to Charleston, and wound up at Mitchell Field, New York, in January '44.
Okay.
And from there I went overseas.
And what were you doing at those different places that you were at, Clovis and Alamogordo and Charleston?
Well, we learned formation flying, formation. We also were assigned to bomb certain targets. I can remember one was a dam in New Mexico. We had, were bombardiers, like majors or something like that, that were had been overseas already, and were instructors to check us out.
Good. I know that's one thing both Germany and Japan didn't have the luxury of having for their cadets, was experienced war veterans that could actually take they could pull off the line and send back, so that's a good thing. Did you do both daylight and nighttime?
Yes, both day and night.
Do you have a preference?
I like day better. I never did any night on overseas.
Okay, so after Mitchell Field in New York, you went to Italy, and that
Went the southern route to yeah, we went down to South America, Belen, Natal. There was one stop at an island before that.
Did they have you stop at the Azores, or did they have you stop
No.
in the Caribbean?
We went right from Natal, South America, directly to Dakar, Africa.
Okay. And were you stationed there, or was that just
No.
a leg of the journey?
Just a leg, and then we had to wait a couple days in Dakar, remember, till the weather was good. Flew right on up to Manduria, Italy.
How long was it from your arrival in Italy before you actually started flying combat missions?
Almost immediately.
And were they like a general strategic type of bombing mission, or were they ground support missions?
Mostly railroad yards, submarine pens in Toulon, France, ball bearing factory at Steyr, Austria.
Did they actually send you into Germany itself as well?
I got some of them here. That was an Italian. Graz. Graz.
Yes.
Bulgaria.
That sounds right. That sounds right.
Steyr, Austria. I gave you that, didn't I?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you did.
Ball bearing factory there. Goes to Pulaski. The oil fields at Pulaski. Bolzano, marshalling yards, railroad bridges.
Okay. And I thought I would just get a few examples from you. How many missions did you fly?
I was on my 28th when I got shot down. I had flown 27. And that's why I brought these to show you. I sent one of these home to my wife every mission.
Are those bomb tags?
These are the cotter keys. So the propeller on the end of the bomb, I had to pull them after we got airborne,
To arm.
probably up to 10,000 feet or so, and to arm the bomb.
Okay.
And I sent her one so she knew I'm in missions.
And they didn't give you a hard time about sending those home?
No, never.
Good. That's good. I know sometimes with security they could be kind of rough on that.
That surprised me because I think some of the letters were even censored.
On your 28th mission, was your plane forced down due to ground fire or enemy fighter action?
Any 109 fighters shot us down.
And where were you forced down?
Orly, Italy. Somewhere near Bologna.
Okay. Did your crew stay with the plane, or did you bail?
Bailed out.
Okay.
Bailed out at 20,000 feet. Got hit bad with the ME-109 that came up the throat. And I don't know how I lived because the whole front of the plane was the plexiglass was all out, air was rushing in, and everything was splintered. And I got hit in the arm. And I was going back, there was a little tone in my nose through. And I was going back to see if I could get some help with my arm. And as I got back there, the engineer in the top turret was saying, "Get out," and the pilot looked around and saw me coming, and he said, like that. So I opened the bomb bay doors with the emergency handle and dropped out.
You went through the bomb bay?
Yeah.
Okay.
The co-pilot had his leg shot off, was just hanging. Somebody put a tourniquet on it when he got down.
And everybody made it out?
Everybody but the tail gunner got killed.
And a B-24 has a crew of how many people?
10.
Okay. And so you were forced down over enemy territory in Italy? All right.
They took, the doctor gave me a shot of morphine. Yeah, well, that was after that. They wrapped up in a sheet for me.
Okay, a German doctor?
No, an Italian.
Italian doctor.
And I kept asking to go south. I couldn't speak the language. I'm asking to go toward Americana. And they put me in a little donkey cart. We were going along probably about a half an hour, I think. I wouldn't judge, I can't remember definitely, but all of a sudden little Fiat drove alongside. 3 German officers got out, yanked me out of the cart, put me in the back seat between 2 of them.
So you were alone?
Yeah, I was by myself.
You didn't see any of your other crew members when you got down?
No.
Okay.
The Germans took me to a hospital, operated on my arm. I kept telling the doctor, "Don't cut it off. Nix cut it off." And then I woke up in the hospital, and my co-pilot was there.
Okay.
He had his leg cut off, and skin sewed shut and stuff. They had taken care of him.
Okay. So was the treatment pretty good? They weren't rough with you?
Nobody beat me or anything, no.
I've often heard that the Germans were
Well, I got a
pretty
book here
good.
where guys relate the stories of how they got beaten up. And civilians, especially in Germany proper, beat them up.
Frustrated over the bombing. But you didn't experience any of that?
No, I didn't.
Well, that's good. That's very good. Where did they send you from the hospital?
I was probably in the hospital about 6 days or so, and I was taken with another fellow from our same group by the name of Anderson. Put on a truck and taken to a train station. Went by train to Vienna. I was in the city jail in Vienna overnight. And then from there we started out the next day again and went to Sagan, Germany, to Stalag Luft 3. I don't know, it took a couple days to get there.
Was this just an American prisoner of war camp, or were you in with prisoners from other countries as well?
England. The compound I was in was all American.
Okay.
The center compound had English in it.
Okay, so they had you segregated.
Yeah, but there were Americans and English in that center compound together.
Okay. Was this a prison just for officers, or were there
Yeah.
also enlisted?
Stalag Luft 3 was officer 50. But there were a few enlisted men who did the chores of bringing the hot water around or soup around in big containers and dishing it out.
Is a bombardier, do they interrogate you or question you?
I was interrogated by him before I got into Stalag.
Okay.
Just how that worked. I remember this major interrogated me, and when I walked in, he had a pack of green Lucky Strikes laying on his desk. Offered me a cigarette, and all my answers were name, rank, and serial number. But then he'd tell me something about myself. That I graduated from Bombardier School on August, I don't remember if that was 25th or 23rd, but anyhow, and that, then he asked another question, and we know, Mr. Miller, that you arrived, or Lieutenant Miller, that you arrived at Car Africa on such and such a date.
How did you feel about him knowing all of that stuff?
I couldn't believe it. And he told me the number of the plane I was on.
Wow. That's a lot of information.
So they had some system of intelligence, I think.
Yeah, they must have. Well, it sounds like
See, a lot of that stuff was in the paper. In my local paper, it was announcing when I graduated. And I suppose they had people doing that. Researching that all the time.
it is troubling to think that that much information could get out. It's understandable, but that's a little troubling.
That same book that I was telling you about, some of these fellows tell how bad they were treated. They'll tell the same thing. How they said name, rank, and serial number and were informed about themselves.
So you would have been in, when was this that you would have reached the prison camp?
About, I would say around May 10th or so.
Of 1944? So you were flying quite a bit in between your arrival in Italy and that day.
Yes. Yeah, we flew a lot.
And how long did you stay in the prison camp?
Till April, well, at Saddam, in January of 45, the Russians started coming near that camp. And the Germans moved us out at midnight on a real cold January night. We got moved out. That was thousands of us were marching. And we marched, am I messing anything
No,
up?
that's all right. Just get that out of your way.
There's a map of this thing. This is a whole book about the march.
Okay.
I thought there was a map of the trip.
And they took you by foot.
Is the original one there, honey? Cars. And they put 60-some men in a cabin car. You all couldn't sit down. And the only thing they had was a 5-gallon can in the corner to go to. And it was terrible.
Yeah, it must have been. And that was after you had already been marched quite a ways on foot.
Yeah, we marched, slept in barns. And one place we slept in a brick factory.
What?
In a brick factory.
And then how long did your train trip last?
I think that was probably I know it was a couple of days because they let us out once a day. And even right near town, and everybody was squatting and going to the bathroom and everything. People walking by. But what could you do?
Yeah, not much of a choice on that. And they took you all the way from Sagan, Germany, and Luft 3 all the way down to Nuremberg, and that was Stalag 8D. Okay.
13B.
Oh, 13B, excuse me, yeah, 13B. All right, and how long did you stay at Stalag 13B?
Probably about, this was January, probably March. Started out in March from there, and then marched down to Moosburg, because I was only in Moosburg about 3 weeks when we were liberated.
Why'd they move you in March? Was it the same reason as in January?
The Americans were getting close to Nuremberg then.
Okay.
They were trying.
And you were liberated by the Americans?
Yes, Patton, General Patton forces liberated us on April 29th, 1945.
What do you remember about that day?
It was a Sunday, and the evening before we had seen American tanks off in the distance on a mountain. You could see them over on the hill. And the story was that the German general wanted to declare a truce around the camp, and Patton said, "No way. We're coming right through." So they told us all to lay down flat on the ground on Sunday morning, and there was a little skirmish, but very little, and it was all over.
The guards had put up a little bit of a fight?
Guards threw their guns over the fence.
Okay. So it must have been a force outside the prison camp?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And where did they take you to at that point?
I stayed right there for 3 days before the plane was ready for me. They were going, I guess, by, I don't know how they did that alphabetically or how, but the third day I got on a C-47, and we got about to Frankfurt, Germany, and all of a sudden, the pilot crash landed us. We felt something was going on. We were buzzing very low, and the guy said, we were all in there, about 40 of us, I think. And the guy said, we're going to crash land. So we all got down, and he made a nice belly landing. And when we got out, his young second lieutenant, he says, "Fellas, I'm sorry, I got lost coming in to get you, and you used up my fuel." And I thought.
So he ran out of fuel?
Yeah.
Everybody made it out okay?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That would be terrible to make it through all of that and have that happen. There were a couple questions I wanted to backtrack a little bit. When you were in the camps, the various German camps, how was the treatment?
No harshly. Sagan up at Sagan, Stalag Luft 3, I was in a room with 15 others, and you had bunk beds with just slats and straw, Excelsior light in burlap for a mattress and blankets. The YMCA sent in a lot of good stuff, like blankets and books to read, and we even had an orchestra, and
Really?
YMCA sent instruments in, and they had an orchestra because you had guys who had been in Tommy Dorsey's orchestra, all big orchestras, and they got together. There was a place like a theater almost. You just sat on boxes or something, but it was a big hall and a stage there. These fellows put on a nice musical show or something.
That's great. This is kind of an inevitable question, but how was the food?
Well, the only thing we got from the Germans was barley and cabbage soup with worms in it most of the time. Black bread had sawdust in it. And once boiled potato. That's what the enlisted men used to bring around, hand you a boiled potato. But I guess the Germans didn't have it themselves, that things were tough. And we did get Red Cross parcels. The best that I ever saw was one parcel to 4 men. We divided everything. In our room, we just put all the food together. One guy cooked.
Okay.
And he'd mash up the potatoes and put some salmon, be a can of salmon in those parcels. Mix the salmon, have salmon loaf or something like that.
Okay.
Divide it up between us all.
So you got one good meal out of it. How often did they get through?
Well, that's what I'm saying, 1 to 4. Sometimes we didn't have any. I don't know just how to explain that.
Just kind of irregular, they came and went?
Yeah.
Okay.
The parcels you're thinking.
Yeah, that's what I meant. But enough of them got through where you remember having them multiple times?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. It was a pretty good supplement, I would say.
What? Did the guards pick those over?
No. They say a lot of what they call the four-logger out front where they kept stuff. That's where the shenanigans went on.
Okay.
But inside, the guards didn't bother that.
Did you?
The guards did have dogs in at night, so you didn't, even if you touched every night you had to close there were blinds, boarded things on hinges that you closed so the light didn't shine. And if you touch one, boy, some of those German police dogs.
They go off? Yeah, I imagine that isn't anything you'd want to play around with. Another question I wanted to ask is, while you were in, was there any talk of or planning for escapes?
Yes. I never was involved in that, but I understand that there were a couple, when we got moved out of it, there were a couple pretty well started. And that Stalag 3, 2 weeks before I got there, was where the Great Escape was.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay, so were they on really tight security at that point because of it?
Yeah.
How was the morale with the prisoners in the camp after that?
Well, in the compound I was in, morale was pretty good, I would say.
Okay.
But, oh yeah, at one point the YMCA sent in those ice skates that you could fasten on your shoes. And they built up a pond with snow and flooded it with water. There's some guys that ice skate. And the second night, a couple of guys stole and kept the ice skates rather than turn them in. And they somehow or other they made shears out of them and went out and cut through the fence. And that was the end of the ice skates. They took them all away.
Yep, they blew a good thing on that one. I imagine that was too tempting an opportunity to let go by, though, with those kind of tools available. All right, to hop forward, or actually one last question on the prison camps. Did you make a good number of friends while you were in camp?
Yeah. I was living with 15 of them. I have a friend in Dallas, Texas that we talk to every once in a while. And
That was another question I was getting to, was during this time period you were able to communicate.
For a while.
Okay, because of your arm?
Yeah.
Okay. But they let them get through?
Yeah, see, I got that old now. and that was a pretty big hole at that time.
I definitely would imagine that would affect your writing. Did they let letters get to you?
Yes, I got,
Special forms.
yeah, there were forms that were put out that they could send a letter. And, I think Creighton was born in October. And I didn't know it for about 4 months or so, I think.
But they got through.
Yeah.
Well, good.
No.
No pictures with it? How long was it between the time you were shot down and your family realized that you had been shot down and that you were okay in a prison camp? So there's the telegram. December 3rd? Oh, that's just an initialing.
Received Saturday, June 3rd, 1944.
Okay.
That he was,
Okay.
Just received International Red Cross that your husband is a prisoner of war. From April 20th to
here's the missing.
So the missing in action was May 18th. Pretty nerve-wracking 2 to 3 weeks. And just missing in action, did they give any presumption of whether you had survived or not? No.
Well, this one tells you that June 3rd that I'm a prisoner.
So it was almost 2 weeks to the day before your family received news of that. It's actually somewhat faster than I would have thought that it would have gotten through. Okay, there's another letter. And is that, okay, that's a statement saying what could be sent over, the kinds of parcels.
One parcel label and 2 tobacco labels will be forwarded to you every 60 days without application on your part.
Did you ever run into any of the crew to your airplane again after you were put in the prison system?
Yes, Scotty and Gory were in my prison campus fellows that could, that help with bringing the soup and stuff around.
Okay. So some of your gunners.
But I was put in the west compound of Stalag Luft, which was new, quite new, and they needed help there yet.
Did you lose quite a bit of weight in prison
About
camp?
110.
What were you when you went in?
I would say 145.
So 35 pounds in about, let's see, almost a year. Yeah, like a little over a year at that. All right, after your C-47 crash landed, where did you go from there?
Then we got another plane. I went to Camp Lucky Strike in France.
And how long did you stay at that camp?
Probably about a week.
Okay.
And got on a ship. I think I was 21 days coming home.
Across the Atlantic?
Yeah, on a Liberty ship.
Oh, slow then.
Slow, and got a bad start in the first place. It was so foggy that they didn't do anything for the first couple of days. And I think it was 21 days altogether. got into New York.
Was that a hard voyage for you?
No, I was just glad to be on the way home.
And once they got you home, they put you into New York Harbor?
Yeah.
Did they keep you in the service after you got home?
I stayed in, I don't know just how that worked, but I was home most of the summer. And in August, we had a 10-day vacation at Atlantic City. Could have been August. Later, but I didn't get out until October. I was mustered out.
October 45?
October 45. I guess I had all that time coming until October 45.
So you weren't on active duty?
No.
Okay. But it just was an official thing at that point that you were out? All right. And how soon after you arrived was it before you got to see your family, your wife and your son?
She came to New York to meet me. I had sent a telegram.
Good. That must have felt good to get home. And in more ways than I can really imagine, it must have been a good thing. At that point, what did you do? Did you go back to school or did you start working?
Oh, I started working right away.
And what?
And I wandered around for several years till I found I worked as a parts manager in a Ford garage. A neighbor, a good friend, had started a Ford business while I was away. He promised me I was going to be part owner or something one time. So I fell for that. But I wasn't getting any place there. Then I went back to my old, went back to horticulture and went to work for Outpost Nurseries in Ridgefield, Connecticut. Found out that was a real hard job. They used to move big trees, big ones. It was too much for me. Then I took the exam for correction officer. Second day I was there, I was looking for another job.
That one didn't suit you too well?
No, I was in a dormitory situation with 120 of those characters. Somebody told me that New York City was putting in a water tunnel in upstate. And they were looking for people. And I had some surveying courses in Farmingdale. And I took the exam there and passed it. And I became a junior civil engineer. Worked in the tunnel for 3 years. And then went to Cannonsville. Familiar with Cannonsville?
I've heard of it, but I'm not sure what kind of work went on there.
I built a dam there.
Okay.
That tunnel is 44 miles long, goes from Cannonsville to Rondout, down to Grahamsville. And I worked building that dam for about 6 years, and then they transferred me to Grahamsville, and I was in charge of, two of us worked together. We were in charge of water control, allotting so much to the river every day, allotting to, there's a power plant on each end of that tunnel. Each tunnel, there's a West Delaware tunnel, East Delaware tunnel, and a Neversink tunnel.
So there's three
power plants, and you allotted so much for them to put through their plant to generate each, whenever, however the reservoir elevation is, they could have someone who figured that all out. Now it's all done like a computer.
Yep. They like to try to do that, whatever they can. So how long did you stay with that?
I worked for 29 years for the city.
You were actually an employee of the city of New York?
The assistant civil, yeah, I passed that exam too. Retired as an assistant civil.
And when did you retire?
August 1985.
And you stayed down home until just recently, just until 2003?
September 2000, we moved up here. We lived in a little town called Ortonville, which, you know, Calico.
I don't know Calico, no.
Calico is right on the Delaware where they do a lot of canoeing. Ortonville's just a little town on the other side of Calico.
Okay. Are you active in any veterans organizations? I guess so.
I'm a life member of all of American Legion, BFW, DAV, ex-prisoners of war. And up here I'm active in the American Legion. I'm the chaplain now.
Good. The Horseheads, American Legion?
I should say acting chaplain. Ed Kowalski was the chaplain, but he's in the nursing home right now. Hope he comes back. I'm taking his place.
Good. Good. So you, I would imagine you're involved in a lot of activities with the American Legion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to go tonight, but I'm not going.
Okay. Just a couple of more quick questions to tie things up, and then there's a little segment here at the end where if you'd like to say anything that I haven't mentioned that you thought I should, we can end with that. How did your war experiences affect the way that affect your outlook on life and on other wars since then? Yep, we've definitely got to do Korea too.
Well, I guess maybe I became more pacifist than I should. I pray for peace in this thing that's going on now. Every night I pray that we don't have war because I know that there's going to be so many young guys that are going to get killed. Still we have to do something. So I would never join a peace march or anything like that. But I just am a peaceful citizen. My wife can tell you I don't even like violence on TV. I can't watch a show with any violence at all.
And you're right. There is one thing that we better take a look at before we close things up this afternoon. When did you find out that you were going to be called back into service for Korea?
I got a letter in August of '51. See, I had stayed in the reserve and was going to Stewart Field. And since I'd been in parts business at that, when I joined down there, then I got into the I'm trying to think. The automotive part of it, motor pool.
Okay.
And I went as a motor officer, went out to Denver to school. They sent me to school for 3 months. Transportation school, air, rail, motor transportation school.
That was in Denver, Colorado?
Denver.
And then from Denver to...
Denver down to McGuire for a while, McGuire Air Force Base as a motor pool officer. They sent me over to Seoul, Korea. And I was with the 5th Motor Transport Squadron. It was a unique outfit. We answered right to headquarters, General Farkas. No group or anything above you. You were just 5th Motor Squadron, and we had detachments at different air bases. And I had my own jeep, go down and check on those around the different air bases, and also fly sometimes from Seoul Airport. Not hire, but there was an outfit there that you could have fly and pay the men and stuff like that. I was operations officer, they called me, with the 5th Motor Transport Squadron.
And did you see any action while you were in Korea?
No. I took convoys up toward the front lines with what we would do is load cases of ammunition and sold out of the airplanes onto the trucks, and then take a convoy up to a ammunition storage plant, dump, we call them.
That would probably have been a never-ending job, wouldn't it? That's a lot of work. So you stayed in Korea until 53?
Yep, right after they ended the war in 53, there, right? August, I think.
I think they started
Sent me
planning
home within a couple of weeks afterwards.
Okay. So it was August 53.
I got out in October. I think probably September I came back.
And you left as a captain at that point?
No, my promotion hadn't come through yet. I got that afterward.
Okay.
After I got out.
Is there anything about your experiences over at Korea that stick in your mind?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was an awful place. There were no just ditches with the sewage running. It was terrible. It smelled terrible.
So glad to be gone then.
I guess it's improved a lot with what I see them producing car now and everything. When over there wasn't hardly a blacktop road when I was there. Everything was dirt roads.
That's right. How were the South Korean people? How'd you feel about them?
I got along fine. We had you're looking for the Korean book, aren't you? I looked for it yesterday. I don't know where it is.
So while you were over there, you would have had, well, in between, would have been in between the end of World War II and Korea, you had 2 other children?
Yeah, Glenn and Judy.
And did you ever get a chance to see them during your service at Korea? Did they give you any leaves to come home?
No, I was only over there 9 months.
Okay. Okay, and I'm going to stop here just one. Your squadron sponsored an orphanage in Korea?
Yeah, and a couple of those churches would send clothing, and I wanted to show you those pictures I have of the kids hanging on me when we took those clothes to the orphanage, how they would hang on you, and it was just sad,
A lot of children misplaced by the fighting.
Yes.
Okay, I guess one thing that I wanted to bring up here in kind of closing things up, is there anything in the process of the interview that I haven't mentioned or that you haven't mentioned that you'd like to mention at this point?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered everything pretty well. I've enjoyed it.
Well, I have too, and I thank you for the opportunity to come and talk to you.
I hope I've done everything that you wanted done.
Absolutely, yep, absolutely.
And he wasn't sure he wanted to do it.
Okay, and you wanted to add to the record?
Yeah, well, one of the things I wondered if I had told you was the fact that when I bailed out after being hit there, that when I was floating down the ME-109, that probably the one that shot us up circled me while I was coming down the chute. And I was a little bit afraid he was going to shoot me, but he waved a hand and went on.
Good. No, you hadn't mentioned that the first time.
And there were a couple other things that came to mind. We had one crew one time that came in, and on their first mission, they were flying with us in formation. We went into a cloud bank, and we never saw them again. We don't know where they spun in or what. Possibly, my pilot thought that maybe the pilot got vertigo or something and lost control of the airplane.
Were you over the sea at the time?
No, we were over land, yeah. Not very far out to the mission. We ran into a cloud bank. And another time, which sometimes I've thought about so often, we were on a mission going over the Adriatic and flying in formation. Two planes on our right, one down in the hole and one up here. I don't know which one lost altitude or one gained, and they came together and spun in right into the ocean. Not a chute came out, so there was 20 men going. And sometimes I think about that during the night. I still haven't forgotten about that. That was terrible.
And that is no idea as to what caused that to happen?
Pilot error somehow or other. When we were on a mission, and I always had quite a little time. My navigator didn't like being in the nose. He navigated like that up behind the pilot. It was too tight for him in the nose with me there. And sometimes I think maybe that was good the day we got shot down, because if we were both in there, I'm sure one of us would have been killed, because the way that thing was all torn up.
Right.
But anyhow, what was I talking about? The pilot error? Yeah, I was always out looking around to see if there were fighters or anything, observing until it was time to put all the data in the bomb site. But anyhow, I happened to be looking out when those two planes came together, and the propellers of the upper plane went right into the cockpit of the lower plane. Then they started circling going down.
Must be the force of the spin kept anybody from reaching the door.
Well, yes, the centrifugal force, which I guess is terrible, because Scotty told me the other night, and I've talked to Kenyon other times, they both only got out of it at maybe a couple thousand feet.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Kenyon said he had an awful time trying to get a hold of something to pull him out the camera hatch in the back. He went on the camera hatch. And Scotty told me the other night, I told him that I'd been getting interviewed by this and was trying to refresh my memory. He said when he got out of the nose turret, the bomb sight was missing.
Really? Did he think you maybe took it out with you and to destroy it?
No, I don't think so. He said there was just a big hole in the nose.
So it was shot out.
And he also had a job getting out. He went out the nose wheel opening because a pilot had dropped the wheels in surrender. And he finally got out. He said he and Kenyon came together, hit each other when they jumped.
Really?
And that as soon as they hit the ground, they ran into a ravine because the plane blew up. And he also told me that the tail had been partially shot off, and one of the rudders, the upright part, the whole thing back there was sticking through the roof of the house.
It had fallen separately?
Yeah, he said the tail was shot off, partially shot off.
Did the plane actually...
Oh, he said it went into a flat spin.
Okay.
And that's why they had a job getting out.
So the plane went down on its own, the pilot didn't bring it in?
No, he had jumped.
Okay. But you jumped from quite a height,
Yeah.
if I remember right.
Yeah.
Something on the order of 20 or 30,000?
Oh, no higher than 20. I would say between 18 and 20.
Right.
By that time, we had been flying at 23, and I think by the time I heard Scotty also told me that the right engine was on fire, and I heard the thing roar, Terry, like maybe the pilot pushed the throttles ahead to keep it going, for a ways. Cleared a little bit of that up with those two fellows the other night.
Well, good.
That's why I wanted to see if they're interested in coming back.
Yeah, definitely. Was there any other incident that you wanted to add to this?
The only other thing is, at one time a plane ahead of us, maybe several planes ahead of us, didn't get off the ground, went off the runway and blew up. When you're taking off through that smoke and everything, you get an eerie feeling.
Yeah. I know that was... Did they consider that to be really one of the greatest dangers of the mission, was the takeoff?
Yes. We took off at one mission, and we just got off the ground. Co-pilot got his coat sleeve caught in the flap panel, and the flaps started coming up. And you need them for lift.
Right.
I remember going by the church steeple in Manduria, and the pilot hollered, "Get those flaps down! Get those flaps down!"
And his coat was caught on it?
And his sleeve had pushed the handle on the thing somehow or other. Boy, the pilot... the B-24 was hard to fly. My pilot was short guy. And I always rode behind them on takeoff, never in the nose. And I'd see his water dripping off his nose from sweat sometimes.
From the strain of trying to pull it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
heard
his
it.
feet going, keeping it. Yeah.
I was curious about one thing, if you'd allow me to ask you, when you used the bomb sight, do you recall how that operated, how you set yourself up for a drop?
Well, it's hard for me to remember, but you set the airspeed, your altitude and airspeed. You could also set this stuff in there, and you had an E6B computer that you figured some of this stuff on, and got information from the navigator too.
Okay.
Altitude and speed and everything, airspeed and ground speed. And I remember I used to draw a little vector on that computer, on that E6B computer they called it.
Was that right in the nose with you?
Yeah, well, you carried that
Okay.
computer, but at that time they called it a computer. hand-operated thing, with dials, and where you dial to your airspeed and so forth, and you set this in the indices of the northern bomb sight. And when you got to the initial point, you'd start your bomb sight and take over the plane, steering of it and everything, and follow those crosshairs. And that traveled until that scope traveled from looking out that way until it was right when your crosshairs looked over the target, and then you dropped your bombs.
And the plane was under its control until the bombs were released?
Under the bomb sight's control, yes.
Okay. Did that?
The pilot could override that if you were getting into some trouble of some kind.
I wondered about that. Did that ever cause problems? I guess as long as you were in formation, everybody's plane would be in the same type of a movement pattern, but it didn't pose any problems in terms of
No.
getting too close?
No. But I know as soon as it bombs away, the pilot was throttles forward, get out of here.
I certainly wouldn't blame them. Did you ever see the effect of the bomb drop?
Yeah, I had, I never saw it. I would usually see the impact of where planes ahead of us had hit and things were blowing up and stuff, but I have my belly gunner. He kept a diary of some of that stuff.
Really?
He sent me these copies of this.
Okay.
Target. Got hit before we reached target, no damage, didn't get any shots, pretty good bomb hits. No planes from our outfit missing. Yeah. This is target. Boslav. I guess he wasn't very good at spelling. Well, he isn't, I know. 10 500-pound demos. Pretty easy run. Fighters around us for some time, but none within range. Good bomb hits.
We always have good luck.
We always. Tonight, an explosion. Yes, thanks. Bombs on 820. I remember this. I was in the officers club and they were loading bombs and something exploded. The whole thing exploded. Boy, everything rattled around the base.
Oh, well, they were loading the plane?
Loading the planes, yeah.
Killed.
Yeah, damn near knocked wall in on the barracks. Killed 4 or 5 guys.
And that, at the top of that page, did that say that was your 22nd or 3rd mission?
22nd and 23rd.
22nd and 23rd mission. So that was right before you were shot down.
24th mission. Sophia. Unload 4,100-pound demolitions. Good mission, good bomb heads. No planes lost. So I do have some.
Yeah, you do.
Those guys weren't in touch for 50 years. Now, this guy in California is refreshing Warren's memory about a lot of the things, because he saw more, because Warren jumped, and
Right.
he saw more than Warren did, that Warren never really knew about.
Right. Yeah, he was with the plane for a longer time.
Or even on the march, he remembers more than you did.
Yeah.
The 627th mission. Loesti.
Loyalty.
Your
demo flew as replacement from, oh, this is his mission alone.
Okay.
He flew with another group, with another another pilot. Didn't go on that one.
Not such good hits on that one, he said.
This is the mission I was on.
This was Kolesky on the 24th.
Oh, yeah, that was the day before.
The day before, tough mission, black holes in our plane, several black holes in the plane. This is the one that you were telling me about, that it was really obscured in smoke and you really couldn't get a clear view of what was on the ground.
And then the next day we were shot down. The next one.
Did you see on the news today when they said they bombed them on that place?
I did. I suppose those things are going to happen, but it doesn't make me feel any better when it does. That's for certain. See, here you had P-38s and P-51s with you, at least for part of the mission. And then this is the final mission. It's supposed to be a milk run. It's supposed to be an easy one. Yeah, it was in Italy. It was a short mission then. It was supposed to be. Yeah.
Hey, where was the copy of that? It's in an orange folder,
Copy of what?
a copy of that book.
Right there.
So, were you the only airplane that went down on that mission?
I don't think so.
No. It said here that the attacks commenced at 11:30 in the morning, lasted about 30 minutes, and then was broken off at noon by your P-38 escort. So apparently they...
Does it say anything there about a plane with a tail shot up?
It says here one of our aircraft was definitely lost during this attack. I don't see anything about damage to an aircraft.
This continued.
Okay, this is the continued. This is amazingly detailed. Even saying what kind of markings were on the ME-109s that came after your planes. Oh. Waggling their wings so that the star insignia could be seen. ME-109s and P-51s resemble each other. It was an evident attempt to confuse gunners into believing they were a friendly escort. Let's see, here's some observation here. 1140, 21,000 feet, 20 miles northeast of Rimini. B-24 seemed to peel off from the formation, head towards the sea. Here's one, 1144, tail blown off B-24 and ship crashed, 3 chutes to be open. So that's most likely your plane?
But there were more chutes than they saw.
Right. But like you said, they probably wouldn't have seen that either because the guys got out so low.
So late, yeah.
Yeah. 4 other bombers missing, reason unknown. So that was a tough mission for the whole squadron.
Yeah. I guess I told you when we came up, we went through clouds that came up, we were all over the place, so we were easy pickings.
Right. And you didn't have your defensive formation set up.
You need firepower to prevent that kind of thing.
Generally, when you were in formation, was that very effective at beating off the fighters?
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I sent for this book, the historian of the 450th Bomb Group got all this information from Washington and compiled it.
And it's an amazingly detailed account of everything you did. It doesn't look like it goes on too much longer.
Well, there's another book, but I didn't get it.
Okay.
Because I figured all I wanted was,
Sure.
I suppose I should have gotten the whole thing for the duration, another book like that, but I didn't buy it.
Said that two ME-109s and a Focke-Wulf 190 were taken out on that one as well. So yeah, apparently, even without being in the defensive formation, planes were able to put up a pretty stiff fight.
One of our missions, I can remember the tail gunner Han and the microphone. I got one of them with the big yellow noses, and that was an FW-190 he shot down in one mission that we were on. But he was from the Pennsylvania coal mines out there, and them. I got one of them with the big yellow noses.
That was a deadly airplane, the Focke-Wulf 190. He was your tail gunner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, it was cool. Leonowitz, his name was.
The tail gun was a twin 50 caliber mount, wasn't it?
Turret.
Oh, it was actually a turret.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so,
Okay. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Now, turn this back over to you.
okay.
But I'd love to get a copy of that. In fact, if I could write to them and get a copy, that would be another way to do it, so you can keep your copy and we wouldn't have to mess with it.
Have you any idea where this is from? It's about another one.
I think it's from here in Elmira. A couple ounces of liquor every time you came back.
Standard ration of liquor?
Yeah. I guess you know that was a
Actually,
going thing.
actually I didn't.
Right? I left one here. I poured it in a bottle and was going to have a party sometime or other, but I couldn't. I wasn't into that kind of stuff.
Actually, I didn't think they even allowed it.
Oh, yeah, you got after every mission, if you came back, you got a couple ounces of a shot glass.
Were you originally slated to fly a set number of missions and then you would be allowed to go home?
50.
It was 50. That's very high.
But see, on some of those, you were getting credit for two, long, after so many hours.
Okay.
You see, like that 23 and 24, that was a long.
So they counted that as two missions?
Yeah, you getting up at 4:30 in the morning for a briefing. Time you get briefed, get off the ground, warm, and everything, and then get back by like 5 o'clock.
Wow.
4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
That must
Considered that a double mission.
That must be when you were flying in Central Europe.
You know, out to like Sophia, Bulgaria, that way. Toulon, France was a long mission.
I think you told me that was the longest of the missions. Northern France. So 50 missions, that seems like a very high number of missions. Considered.
Got friends, Bill Conklin, I met him at several of the 450th Bomb Group reunions. He made it. There were a few that made it. There were thousands of us in those prison camps. Never forget the night we took on we were told to be prepared for this. Each barracks had either a colonel or a major in charge. And they told you to walk the compound, get yourself prepared. And everybody was figuring out how they were going to carry food and stuff. I remember I had a army blouse, button, like a sport coat. Anyhow, sewed the bottom shut, sewed the arms to the sides, so you could carry it as a backpack and fill it. Well, a lot of guys did that, plus some somehow tried to make sleds out of pieces of wood. And everybody thought they were going to take everything they could with them. There were guys that had guitars, YMCA had sent in musical instruments. And within 2 miles, the stuff was strewn along the road.
Sure, with everybody's weight being down.
And they threw a Red Cross, there was what they called the Vorlager, which is German, I guess, for storehouse or something. They had stored Red Cross parcels in that to be distributed a little at a time. They had quite a storage because they didn't know how bad things were going to get.
Right.
Well, as we marched out that night, they threw a Red Cross parcel to you.
Okay.
And this is a box that square, Guys were throwing stuff out that they thought they wouldn't eat. The road was just strewn with stuff.
All set.
I know, I kept condensed milk and just punch the can and sip a little of it every once in a while for some strength,
Sure.
And D-bars, the chocolate bar, the concentrated chocolate bar, kept that. Threw the powdered milk away.
You said it was very cold.
Yes, it was. Yeah, one of the coldest winters they ever had, they said. It was terrible cold. And snowing the night we went.
Oh, it was snowing as well.
Yeah. Snowing hard. So,
A lot of memories. Yes. Yeah, definitely a lot of memories. What I'll do here